Okay, we added a spare track rack on the front of this Sherman. We've added a little bit of fender bracing on the insides of that. Add a little bit of texture with some Gunzi Mr. Surfacer 500. And then I've got to add some some stowage onto the back. The turret's all done. This is the worst turret I've built in years. There's a huge amount of seam filling on the barrel and the muzzle brake. The gap underneath this turret is pretty damn bad. You can see the amount of filler around the hatch in the turret along the back there. Underneath there's just some wicked seam lines around the back. They'd left that piece hollow, so I filled that in. But as you can see, the amount of filler this is needed is shades of old trumpeter instead of new Tamiya. So anyway, it's ready for some surfacer on it and then some primer. We've got some texture on the hull, we've got some texture on the turret, a little bit of extra work with the Dremel tools. I looked at some of the reference photos of this kit. It's got a very rough turret, lots of grind marks and weld marks and more grind marks and stuff. You can see we've added some Mr. Surfacer 500 to the hull, and it's ready for primer. So next time you see this, she's going to be black. Hey guys, we're back on this M1 Israeli Sherman by Tamiya. As you can see, it's painted. I did it up in a little different color. I didn't want to do it in an olive drab, and some of my research indicated that the French had repainted a lot of their Shermans, the wet hull style, in French khaki. So I located some testers, Model Masters Enamel French khaki, and gave it a shot. I really like the color. It's a nice subtle green without being too gray, and I think it works really well on this. As you can see, I've added quite a bit of stowage and all that in the back. This is made out of the last of my... No, this is Milliput. Yeah, this is Milliput, which I don't like as much as Epoxy Sculpt. And I found a place online here in Canada for Epoxy Sculpt that is less than a third of the price, well, probably less than that, of the local hobby store. The local hobby store had those small little Epoxy Sculpts for $16.95 like I had before, and I picked up a pound of Epoxy Sculpt for $16.95. So I got a natural color coming and black, so that's coming along here. So we're just starting to add some try and get some, keep out of the shadows here. We're just starting to add a pin wash to this, and we'll get a pin wash on that, and then we'll throw some flat coat on it. And once the flat's done, we will do some paint fading and some filters on it. But I see my battery is starting to flash, so I'll throw it on charge, and we'll get back to you guys. Well, this Israeli M1 has been glossed, deckled, detail painted, glossed, and then shot with flat. So we're going to start doing some weathering on it. We're going to do some heavy paint fading with the oil dots and fading, and this new product here that I picked up, the Tamiya Weathering Master Sand, Light Sand and Mud. So we're going to give this a good grungy coat, give it kind of grimy and greasy, and then we're going to start going doing a little bit old school dry brushing on the tracks, and bring it up to speed here and get it ready to show. Well, we're weathering up this Israeli M1, and I've got some fading on it, I've got some washes on it, and I've started with some dusting. Now normally I'd do some Tamiya paints, like a XF57 buff or a deck tan or something, and haze it on and make it look like dust. But I'm trying something different. I'm trying this Tamiya Weathering Master stuff, and I'm using sand and light sand, and wow, this stuff is the shit, man. It's easier to control than pigments because it's a pigment, but it's solid. It's a solid pigment, and you can either use the brush, just work it in with the brush, and gives it a light dusting, or you use this sponge applicator, and it just goes on so damn nicely. I'm really impressed. I would buy this stuff again. There's a few other effects on it. I think they were $10. So for 3 colors you get the price of 1 MIG pigments, and I like it, really like it. It goes on very convincing, nice dusted effects. So that's just the one side. I'll do the whole hull and back underneath. You can see there I've got some more, but this one's coming along nice. I'm really liking the subtle streaking and oil wash and fading I've done on it. I really, it's turned out quite nice. This is a technique I haven't used in years. And Pangerman Bill, thanks buddy. I watched yours when you did yours maybe a month ago. You were using Tester's paint, and I'm using this stuff for my dot oiling. And thanks buddy, I'd forgotten all about that technique, and wow, it makes a really nice subtle weather technique on it. So this one should be done here. Well, I've got one more day, then I'm going out camping out for a week, and then a few days after that, days off booked. So hopefully I can get this done, the M22 Locust done, my group build ZTZ99 done. When I have days off, I spend probably 10-12 hours down at the bench. As you know, there's not much yard work to do. I've got all my yard stuff done for the winter, and I'm just gonna go out and get a couple deer for the freezer here. Honestly, I'd rather stay home and build models, but I got to get some deer in the freezer. Got to get some deer meat. I love deer making jerky and all that kind of stuff. So we're gonna take a week off next week and go out hunting. So I've got the rest of tonight and all day tomorrow to get at this. So I hope I can show this either time I get back or by the time I leave. So the figures are just about ready to paint, and a couple more and we'll get this diorama done. I've just been building up a storm. Later guys.